Ethan's sneakers squeaked on the polished floor of the Seattle Mall, the hum of chatter and espresso machines filling the air. He clutched a coffee cup, weaving through the Saturday crowd, his mind on a deadline for a freelance logo design. At 32, he'd carved out a steady rhythm: work, gym, volunteering at the community center where he mentored teens. It wasn't glamorous, but it was his. 2 years ago, his life had been different. 2 years ago, Lauren had walked out without a word, leaving a voicemail that still echoed in his head. "Please don't be mad. I'm not coming back." He'd been picking up the pieces ever since. He was halfway to the exit when he saw her. Lauren stood by a smoothie stand, her voice clear as she ordered, "Extra chia, please." A bright yellow stroller sat beside her, covered in tiny sun patterns, a toddler asleep inside, his small chest rising and falling. Ethan froze, coffee burning his palm through the cup. She looked different, calm, almost radiant, like the weight of their past had never touched her. The boy's dark hair spilled over a blanket, and something about his peaceful sprawl stopped Ethan cold. He didn't know why, not yet, but his gut twisted with a question he couldn't name. He should have kept walking. He should have turned toward the glass doors and let the drizzle outside wash this moment away. Instead, he stood there, rooted behind a row of overpriced massage chairs, staring like a man caught in a riptide. Lauren hadn't seen him. She laughed with the cashier, handing over her card, oblivious to the ghost from her past 10 feet away. Ethan's pulse hammered. 2 years, 748 days, he'd counted, since she'd vanished, leaving their apartment with her wedding ring on the coffee table and a toothbrush still in the cup. Now here she was, alive, thriving, with a child. The toddler stirred, a tiny hand clutching the blanket. Ethan's eyes locked on the boy's face, catching a glimpse of deep blue eyes, just like his own. His breath hitched. Was it possible? He shook his head, trying to dismiss the thought, but it clung like damp air. Lauren had left him for Caleb, a tech entrepreneur with a slick smile and a knack for mason jar coffee. This boy, could he be theirs? The question burned, irrational but relentless. Ethan's grip on his coffee tightened, the lid popping loose. He stepped forward before he could stop himself, dodging a couple with shopping bags. Lauren turned mid-sentence, her smile fading as her eyes met his. The color drained from her face, her smoothie cup trembling in her hand. For a moment neither moved. The mall's noise faded to a dull roar in Ethan's ears. She looked like she'd seen a ghost, he felt like one. "Ethan," she whispered, barely audible, her voice cracking on the second syllable. It was the first time she'd said his name in 2 years. "Is that his kid?" Ethan's voice came out low, sharper than he meant. He nodded toward the stroller, his eyes never leaving hers. Lauren's lips parted, but no words followed. She glanced at the boy, then back at Ethan, her expression a mix of panic and guilt. The cashier handed her a receipt, oblivious to the tension. Lauren fumbled it, stuffing it into her pocket. "Ethan, She started, then stopped, her hand instinctively gripping the stroller's handle. "Don't," he said, stepping closer, his voice steady but tight. "Just answer me. Is that Caleb's kid?" The question hung between them, heavy and sharp. The boy gurgled, oblivious, his tiny sneakers kicking the blanket. Lauren's eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. She never did, not in public. Instead, she shook her head, not a denial but a refusal to engage. "This isn't the place," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. She pushed the stroller an inch back, as if retreating from a threat. Ethan's chest tightened. He wanted to press, to demand answers, but the boy's soft snores stopped him. This wasn't just about him and Lauren anymore. "Then where is?" he asked, softer now, his anger giving way to something heavier, hope, maybe, or fear. Lauren looked away, scanning the crowd like she was searching for an escape. "I can't do this here," she said, her voice firmer now, practiced. She turned the stroller, ready to walk away. "Wait." Ethan's hand shot out, not touching her, just hovering near the stroller. She froze, her shoulders stiff. "You owe me something, Lauren. 2 years, no call, no text, just a voicemail. And now this?" He gestured toward the boy, his voice cracking. "I need to know." Her eyes darted to the floor, then back to him, conflicted. "Tomorrow," she said finally. "Marlow Park, 11 a.m. Just us. She didn't wait for his reply, pushing the stroller toward the escalators, her pace quickening. Ethan stood there, coffee cold in his hand, watching her disappear into the crowd. The boy's blue eyes lingered in his mind, a mirror to his own. He didn't know if he was chasing a truth or a ghost, but one thing was clear: tomorrow would change everything. He turned toward the exit, the weight of 748 days heavier than ever, and stepped into the Seattle rain. Ethan barely slept, the image of the toddler's blue eyes burning behind his lids. He paced his small Seattle apartment, the hum of the city outside drowned out by the questions screaming in his head. Was the boy his? Why had Lauren looked so guilty? The mall encounter had ripped open a wound he thought had scarred over, and now he was hours from meeting her at Marlowe Park. He checked his phone obsessively, half expecting her to cancel. She didn't. At 10:45 a.m., he grabbed his keys and headed out, the weight of uncertainty heavier than the drizzle soaking his hoodie. Marlowe Park was quiet, a stretch of green tucked between Seattle's urban sprawl. Ethan arrived early, picking a bench near a playground where kids chased each other under gray clouds. His knee bounced as he scanned the path. At 11:03, Lauren appeared, alone, pushing the empty yellow stroller. The sight of it without the boy sent a jolt through him. Where was he? She spotted Ethan and slowed, her steps cautious, like she was approaching a trap. She stopped a few feet away, gripping the stroller handle like an anchor. You came, she said, her voice flat but laced with something, relief, maybe, or dread. Ethan stood, hands shoved in his pockets to keep them still. You said 11? Where's the kid? He asked, sharper than intended. Lauren's eyes flicked to the ground. Noah's with a friend. This isn't about him yet. Ethan's jaw tightened at the name, Noah. It hit like a punch, grounding the boy in reality. Then what's it about? He pressed, stepping closer. You owe me answers, Lauren. You don't get to vanish for 2 years and act like I'm the one out of line. She flinched, but didn't retreat. I didn't plan this, she said, her voice low. Seeing you yesterday, it brought everything back. Ethan's laugh was bitter. Brought what back? The life you walked out on. The voicemail that started with "Don't be mad" and ended with "My world falling apart"? Lauren's lips pressed into a thin line. She glanced at the playground, where a kid's squeal cut through the air, then back at Ethan. I was drowning, Ethan. You were so steady. Too steady. I felt like I was suffocating under your expectations. Expectations? He snapped. Like what? Being a husband? Loving you through every breakdown, every job loss, every fight with your mom? I was there, Lauren. Her eyes glistened, but she blinked hard, holding it together. You were. But I wasn't enough for you. I could feel it. And then Caleb. She trailed off, and Ethan's stomach twisted at the name. Caleb, the tech bro with the perfect Instagram life, who'd swept her away like Ethan was just a rough draft. Was it his kid? Ethan asked again, his voice raw. Lauren hesitated, then shook her head. I don't know, she whispered. The words hit like a shockwave. Ethan stepped back, his breath catching. What do you mean you don't know? She looked away, her hands twisting the stroller handle. When I left, I was 3 months pregnant. I wasn't sure if it was you or him. Caleb said we'd raise the baby as his, no questions. I was too scared to face you, so I let him decide. Ethan's world tilted. 3 months. That meant the timeline overlapped with their marriage, with the nights she'd come home late, smelling of lavender shampoo, or so she'd claimed. He wanted to scream, to shake her, but his voice came out quiet, dangerous. You knew, and you didn't tell me? You let another man raise my kid? Lauren's eyes met his, pleading. I didn't know for sure. I still don't. I was ashamed, Ethan. I thought burying it was easier than facing you. Easier for who? He shot back. You built a life with him, Lauren. You erased me. She shook her head, voice breaking. I didn't erase you. I ran because I couldn't handle the truth. But seeing you yesterday, I can't run anymore. Ethan's hands clenched into fists, not from anger but from the sheer weight of her words. He could be a father. Noah could be his. The hope was as terrifying as the betrayal. I want a DNA test, he said, his tone final. Lauren's shoulders slumped, but she nodded. I knew you'd say that. I'll do it, but Caleb can't know yet. He'll lose it. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Caleb doesn't get a say. This is about me and Noah. Lauren's gaze hardened. It's not that simple. Caleb's been his dad. He's the one who's been there. The words stung, but Ethan didn't back down. Not anymore. Set it up, Lauren. I'm not asking. She nodded again, pulling out her phone to type something, her fingers trembling. I'll text you the details. It'll take a week, maybe two. Ethan watched her, searching for the woman he'd loved, the one who'd whispered, forever, in their old apartment. She was gone, replaced by someone carrying a secret that could rewrite everything. Don't ghost me again, he said, his voice low. You owe me that much. Lauren met his eyes, her expression unreadable. I won't. As she pushed the stroller away, Ethan stayed on the bench, his mind racing. He pulled out his phone and opened a browser, typing, Paternity Test Seattle, with shaking hands. The search results flooded in, clinics, costs, timelines. He clicked a link, skimming words like non-invasive and 99.9% accuracy. But his thoughts kept drifting to Noah. Those blue eyes, that gummy smile. What if he was his? What if he wasn't? Either way, Ethan knew one thing: he wasn't walking away. That night, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. No greeting, just a single line, you don't know the half of it. Attached was a photo of a torn greeting card with cartoon raccoons, Lauren's slanted handwriting scrawled across it. Ethan's heart stopped. He zoomed in, reading the first line, Caleb was never supposed to be permanent. His breath caught. What did that mean? A fling? A mistake? He scrolled further, the words blurring as he read, I didn't mean to get pregnant. Caleb pushed for the baby, but after Noah was born, things changed. He's not who I thought. Ethan set the phone down, his hands shaking. The letter wasn't just a confession, it was a crack in the perfect life Lauren had built. He didn't know if it was guilt or desperation that made her send it, but it changed everything. He typed a reply, meet me tomorrow. Same place. Bring the card. Her response came instantly, okay. Ethan leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The truth was close, but it came with a cost. Tomorrow, he'd face Lauren again, and this time, he wouldn't let her dodge the past. Ethan sat on the same Marlow Park bench, the torn raccoon card in his hand, its edges frayed from restless fingers. The Seattle sky was heavy with clouds, mirroring the weight in his chest. Lauren's text from last night, Caleb was never supposed to be permanent, looped in his mind, each word sharpening the stakes. Was Noah his son? Had Lauren hidden the truth to protect herself, or something else? He'd demanded this meeting, and now, at 11:02 a.m., he scanned the park's winding path for her. His phone buzzed with a message, running late. 5 minutes. He exhaled sharply, gripping the card tighter. When Lauren arrived, she was alone again, the yellow stroller parked by her side. She sat across from him, her posture stiff, hands clasped tightly. You got the card, she said, her voice low, like she was testing the air. Ethan held it up, his eyes locked on hers. What is this, Lauren? Some kind of confession to clear your conscience? She flinched, but didn't look away. It's the truth, she said. I wrote it after them all. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. Pretending? Ethan's voice rose, drawing a glance from a jogger passing by. He leaned forward, lowering it. You left me, Lauren. No warning, no goodbye. Just a voicemail and a ring on the table. Now you're saying Caleb was a mistake, and Noah might be mine? When were you going to tell me? Lauren's fingers dug into her palms. I didn't know how. When I left, I was scared. Pregnant, confused. Caleb said he'd take care of everything, so I let him. I thought it was easier. Easier? Ethan's laugh was sharp, cutting through the park's hum. You let him raise my kid, maybe my kid, because it was easier? Lauren's eyes glistened, but she held steady. I wasn't sure, Ethan. I still don't know for sure. But I couldn't face you back then. You were so good. I didn't deserve you. Her words stung, not because they were true, but because they sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced them to justify 2 years of silence. Ethan slid the card across the bench. This says Caleb pushed for the baby. What else aren't you telling me? Lauren hesitated, glancing at the stroller as if it could shield her. After Noah was born, Caleb changed. He was charming at first, fun, ambitious. But then he got distant. He'd disappear for hours, come back reeking of whiskey. Once, he was gone 2 days, no explanation. I started wondering if I'd made a mistake. Ethan's jaw tightened. So you're unhappy? That doesn't answer my question. Is Noah mine? Lauren's voice dropped to a whisper. I don't know. But I'll do the DNA test. I already booked it, tomorrow at a clinic downtown. I need you to promise you won't tell Caleb yet. He thinks Noah's his. Ethan's eyes narrowed. He doesn't get to dictate this. I deserve the truth. Lauren nodded, her hands trembling. I know. I'll get you the results, whatever they say. Just give me time to handle Caleb. Ethan wanted to argue, to demand more, but the fear in her eyes stopped him. She wasn't the Lauren he married, full of fire and laughter. This version was frayed, caught between guilt and survival. Tomorrow, he said, standing. Text me the time and place. Don't back out. She nodded, pushing the stroller away without another word. Ethan watched her go, the card burning a hole in his pocket. The next day, Ethan drove to the clinic, a nondescript building near Pike Place Market. Lauren was already there, Noah in her arms, his tiny hands clutching a plastic dinosaur. Ethan's heart lurched at the sight, those blue eyes, so familiar, staring curiously at him. Lauren handed Noah to a nurse, who took a quick swab from his cheek. Ethan followed, giving his own sample, the process cold and clinical. Lauren avoided his gaze, murmuring to Noah about his toy. Results in 10 days, the nurse said, handing them a receipt. Ethan nodded, his throat tight. 10 days felt like a lifetime. Back at his apartment, Ethan couldn't focus. He tried working on a logo design, but his mind kept drifting to Noah's smile, to Lauren's confession, to Caleb's shadow over it all. He opened his laptop and searched Caleb's name, curiosity overriding caution. LinkedIn showed a polished tech founder, all TED Talk smiles and startup buzzwords. But a deeper dive, ex-posts, local forums, hinted at cracks, rumors of failed ventures, late-night bar fights, a temper. Ethan's stomach churned. Was this the man raising his son? On day 6, a knock at his door jolted him. He opened it to find a plain envelope, no return address, slipped under the frame. Inside was a single page, Lauren's handwriting again. I'm scared, Ethan. Caleb's been acting strange since the test. He knows something's up. Please don't do anything until we talk. Ethan's pulse spiked. He texted her, what's going on? Call me. No reply. He called, but it went to voicemail. His mind raced. Had Caleb found out? Was Lauren in trouble? He grabbed his keys, ready to drive to her condo, when his phone buzzed. A text from Lauren, meet me tonight 8 p.m., Marlow Park. Alone. The park was dark when Ethan arrived, the swings creaking in the breeze. Lauren stood under a street lamp, no stroller, her arms crossed tightly. Caleb knows about the test, she said before Ethan could speak. He saw the clinic receipt in my bag. He's furious, Ethan. He thinks I'm trying to leave him. Ethan stepped closer, his voice steady. Did he hurt you? She shook her head, but her eyes said otherwise. Not yet. But he's not the same. I need you to back off until the results come. Back off? Ethan's voice rose. You dropped this bomb on me, Lauren. I'm not sitting on the sidelines while he plays dad to my kid. Lauren's eyes flashed. You don't get it. Caleb's not stable. If he thinks you're a threat, he'll... She stopped, her breath catching. He'll what? Ethan pressed. She didn't answer, just handed him a folded photo, a Polaroid of Noah in a sandbox, laughing, his blue eyes bright. This is why I'm doing this, she said. For him. Ethan stared at the photo, his anger softening. I'm not here to ruin his life, he said. But if Noah's mine, I'm not walking away. Lauren nodded, her voice barely audible. I know. Just wait for the results. She turned to leave, but Ethan called after her. If Caleb's a problem, tell me. I'll help. She paused, then shook her head. You can't fix this, Ethan. She disappeared into the dark, leaving him with the photo and a growing dread. Back home, Ethan sat on his couch, Noah's picture in hand. The wait for the results was torture, but Caleb's shadow loomed larger now. Ethan opened his laptop again, searching for legal advice, paternity rights, custody laws. The forums were grim. Without proof, he had no claim. But if Noah was his, everything changed. He texted Lauren one last time, "If you're scared, I'm here." No response. The clock ticked past midnight, and Ethan knew the next few days would test him like nothing ever had. The envelope sat on Ethan's kitchen counter, plain white and impossibly thin, as if it couldn't possibly hold the weight of his future. 10 days after the DNA test, it had arrived, slipped under his apartment door with no note, no explanation. Ethan's hands shook as he picked it up, the Seattle rain tapping against his window like a countdown. He hadn't heard from Lauren since their tense meeting in Marlow Park, where she'd warned him about Caleb's suspicions. Her silence since then gnawed at him, each unanswered text fueling his fear that she, or Noah, was in trouble. He tore open the envelope, his breath shallow, and unfolded the single sheet inside, paternity confirmed. 99.9% probability. Noah was his son. Ethan's knees buckled. He sank onto a chair, the paper trembling in his grip. Joy collided with rage, joy that Noah was his, rage that Lauren had hidden it, that Caleb had claimed a role that wasn't his. He grabbed his phone, dialing Lauren. Straight to voicemail. He tried again, then texted, "I got the results. We need to talk. Now." No reply. His mind raced, replaying her fear under the park's street lamp, her cryptic note about Caleb's instability. Ethan couldn't wait. He grabbed his keys and the Polaroid of Noah, shoving both into his pocket, and drove to Lauren's condo in Capitol Hill. The building loomed sleek and modern, a testament to Caleb's tech bro success. Ethan buzzed the intercom, his pulse hammering. No answer. He buzzed again, then pounded on the glass door. A neighbor exiting the building glanced at him warily but let him slip inside. Ethan took the elevator to the 5th floor, his heart pounding with every ding. At Lauren's door he knocked, then banged harder. "Lauren, it's Ethan. Open up." Silence. Then, a muffled crash from inside, followed by Noah's wail. Ethan's blood ran cold. He twisted the knob, locked. "Lauren!" he shouted, banging again. The door cracked open, revealing Caleb, his jaw tight, eyes bloodshot. "What the hell do you want?" he slurred, whiskey on his breath. Ethan pushed past him, ignoring the protest. Inside, Noah sat on the floor, clutching a toy dinosaur, tears streaming down his face. Lauren stood behind him, her arms crossed, her expression a mix of fear and resignation. "Ethan, you shouldn't be here," she said, her voice shaking. "I told you to wait." Ethan held up the DNA results. "Noah's mine, Lauren. You don't get to keep him from me anymore." Caleb stepped forward, unsteady. "Get out. You're nothing to him." Ethan's fist clenched, but he kept his voice level, eyes on Noah. "I'm his father. You knew, didn't you?" Caleb's silence was answer enough. Lauren knelt beside Noah, soothing him, but her eyes stayed on Ethan. "I was going to tell you," she said. "After the results. But Caleb, he found the receipt. He's been drinking, Ethan. It's not safe." Noah's cries softened, but his blue eyes, Ethan's eyes, locked onto him, curious despite the chaos. "Then why stay?" Ethan asked, his voice low but firm. "If he's like this, why keep Noah here?" Caleb laughed, a bitter edge. "You think you can just walk in and play dad? I've been there, man. Diapers, fevers, 3 a.m., wake-ups. Where were you?" Ethan's chest tightened, but he didn't back down. "I wasn't there because you both lied to me. You don't get to steal my kid and call it fatherhood." Caleb lunged, shoving Ethan against the wall. Noah wailed louder, and Lauren shouted, "Stop it!" Ethan pushed Caleb back, not hard, just enough to break free. "I'm not here to fight," he said, his voice steady. "I want Noah in my life, and I'll do it the right way, through the courts if I have to." Lauren stood, lifting Noah into her arms. "Ethan, please. Let me handle this. I'll call you tomorrow." But Ethan saw the bruise on her wrist, faint but unmistakable. "You're not safe here," he said. "Neither is Noah." Come with me, now. Lauren hesitated, her eyes darting to Caleb, who swayed, glaring. I can't, she whispered. Not yet. Ethan's jaw clenched, but Noah's small hand reached out, brushing his arm. Dino. Noah mumbled, holding out the toy. Ethan's heart cracked. He took the dinosaur, forcing a smile. Cool, Dino, buddy. I'll see you soon, okay? Noah nodded, oblivious to the tension. Ethan turned to Caleb. This isn't over. You don't get to erase me. Caleb smirked, but it was hollow, his bravado crumbling. Outside, Ethan sat in his car, the dinosaur on the passenger seat. He called a lawyer he'd found online, a family law specialist, and left a voicemail summarizing the situation. His next call was to the community center where he volunteered, arranging a meeting with a social worker who'd help families in crisis. If Lauren wouldn't leave, he'd build a case to protect Noah. Back home, he opened his laptop, researching custody laws, his resolve hardening. Noah was his, and no one, not Caleb, not Lauren's fear, would keep them apart. That night, his phone buzzed at 1 a.m. A text from Lauren, I'm sorry. Meet me tomorrow 10 a.m., same park. I'll bring Noah. Ethan's relief was tempered by suspicion. Was this another dodge or a step forward? He replied, I'll be there. Don't back out. Sleep eluded him, his mind replaying Noah's small hand, Caleb's drunken shove, Lauren's bruise. He opened the Polaroid, staring at Noah's sandy smile. I'm coming for you, he whispered. The next morning, Marlow Park was alive with kids and parents. Ethan arrived early, scanning for the yellow stroller. At 10:05, Lauren appeared, pushing Noah, who clutched a red toy truck. Ethan's heart leapt. Hey, buddy, he said, crouching. Noah squinted, then grinned. Truck, he shouted, holding it up. Lauren's eyes were tired but clear. I'm leaving Caleb, she said quietly. I can't do this anymore. But I need time to figure things out. Ethan nodded, his focus on Noah. I'm not here to take him from you, he said. I just want to be his dad. Lauren handed him the truck. Play with him today. We'll talk more tomorrow. Ethan spent an hour pushing Noah on a swing, mimicking truck noises, earning giggles that felt like a lifeline. When Lauren took Noah home, Ethan felt a shift, not victory, but progress. He drove to the community center, meeting the social worker, who outlined steps for custody and safety plans. Ethan left with a plan, not just for Noah, but for a future where he could be the father he'd never had a chance to be. Ethan sat in his car outside Marlow Park, the engine idling, his hands steady on the wheel for the first time in weeks. The DNA results confirming Noah as his son had shifted everything, but the path forward was still a tightrope. Lauren's promise to leave Caleb and her bruised wrist haunted him, as did Noah's small hand clutching that toy dinosaur. Today, 3 weeks after their last park meeting, Ethan was set to see Noah again, not just for a play date, but for a step towards something permanent. He'd spent the interim with his lawyer, filing for shared custody, and with the community center's social worker, ensuring Noah's safety. His phone buzzed, a text from Lauren. We're here. By the slides. Ethan stepped out, the Seattle air crisp, and headed toward the playground. Noah's laughter hit him first, a bright sound cutting through the chatter of kids. Lauren stood by the slides, the yellow stroller parked nearby, watching Noah scramble up a ladder with his red truck in hand. Ethan approached, his heart pounding, but Noah spotted him and shouted, Truck guy. The nickname, now a familiar warmth, made Ethan grin. He crouched as Noah ran over, holding out the truck. Viroom, Noah said, shoving it into Ethan's hands. Lauren's eyes met Ethan's, her expression cautious but softer than before. He's been asking about you, she said quietly. Ethan nodded, keeping his focus on Noah. Hey, buddy, wanna race that truck? Noah's eyes lit up, and they spent the next half hour weaving through the playground, Ethan mimicking engine noises while Noah giggled uncontrollably. Lauren watched, occasionally joining in, her laughter tentative but real. When Noah plopped onto the grass, clutching his truck, Ethan sat beside Lauren on a bench. You left him? He asked, keeping his voice low. Lauren nodded. Last week. I'm staying with a friend until I find a place. Caleb, he didn't fight it. He's been spiraling since I told him about the test. Ethan's jaw tightened. Did he hurt you again? Lauren shook her head. No. He just gave up. Packed a bag and left. Said he couldn't handle the truth. Ethan exhaled, relief mixing with lingering anger. Caleb had known Noah might not be his, yet played father while shutting Ethan out. What now? He asked. Lauren's hands twisted together. I filed for full custody. I mentioned you in the paperwork, shared, like we discussed. My lawyer thinks it'll go through, given Caleb's issues. Ethan nodded, his mind on the court date next month. I'm not here to take Noah from you, he said. I just want to be his dad. Noah's shout interrupted them. Truck guy, look! As he zoomed the toy across the grass. Ethan joined him, pushing the truck through a makeshift dirt track, their laughter drawing smiles from other parents. When they returned to the bench, Lauren pulled out a folder. I got you something, she said, handing him a legal document. It was a draft custody agreement, outlining shared parenting, with Ethan's name as Noah's father. It's not final, she said, but it's a start. Ethan scanned the pages, his throat tight. Thank you, he said, the words heavy with meaning. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan became a fixture in Noah's life. He took him to the Science Museum, where Noah marveled at a rocket display, and to the community center, where Ethan's mentor taught Noah to high-five. Caleb faded from the picture, his social media silent, his condo listed for sale. Ethan's lawyer confirmed Caleb had waived any claim to Noah, citing personal reasons. Lauren, now in a small apartment, grew steadier, her guilt giving way to a fragile trust with Ethan. They met weekly to discuss Noah, their conversations civil, focused on his needs. One afternoon, at a bookstore near Pike Place, Ethan and Noah sat cross-legged on the floor, flipping through a picture book about sea turtles. Noah leaned against Ethan's arm, his small body warm and heavy. You feel like a dad, Noah said softly, not looking up. Ethan froze, his breath catching. Yeah? He managed, his voice thick. Noah nodded, pointing at a turtle. They swim far. Like you come to see me. Ethan blinked hard, rubbing his eyes. Allergic to turtle books. He joked, and Noah laughed, shaking his head. You're silly. That moment became Ethan's anchor. The custody hearing came and went, the judge granting shared custody with minimal fuss, citing Lauren's cooperation and Caleb's absence. Ethan moved into a bigger apartment, one with a room for Noah, complete with a rocket-themed bedspread. He kept volunteering, finding purpose in mentoring kids while teaching Noah about constellations and ketchup-dipping techniques. Lauren, too, found her footing, taking a job at a local nonprofit, her confidence slowly returning. One Saturday, under a rare sunny Seattle sky, Ethan pushed Noah on a park swing, his son's laughter echoing. Lauren sat nearby, sipping coffee, a faint smile on her lips. He loves you, she said, her voice free of the old tension. Ethan nodded, catching Noah as he slid off the swing. Daddy? Noah shouted, arms wide. Ethan lifted him, spinning him in the air, the word, Daddy, settling into his bones like it had always belonged there. The past, Lauren's betrayal, Caleb's lies, still lingered, but it no longer defined him. Ethan had fought for Noah, not with fists or vengeance, but with patience and love. The courts had ensured his place, but Noah's trust had built it. As they walked to the car, Noah clutching his truck in Ethan's hand, Lauren fell into step beside them. We're doing okay, aren't we? She asked. Ethan glanced at her, then at Noah. Yeah, he said. We're doing better than okay.